Our journey takes us to a peaceful Christian town in northern Iraq, a place where happiness was about to collide with tragedy. Welcome back to our channel. Today we bring you a heartbreaking tale of a wedding that transformed into an unspeakable calamity. We want to caution you that the content of this video may be distressing. On that ill-fated evening, a wedding celebration was in full swing. Revan, aged 27, and Hamim, just 18, were on the threshold of a new chapter in their lives as a married couple. The atmosphere was filled with joy and laughter, but little did they realize that their moment of celebration would soon spiral into a harrowing ordeal. The Eteloraf laying inside DNT. This sad event happened in a special place called the Haytham Royal Wedding Hall, which is located in a quiet town mainly filled with Christian people called Karakosh. Around 900 folks had come together to celebrate the joining of Revan and Hameen in marriage. The time was nearly 10:45 p.m., and everyone was having a good time. When the bride and groom began their slow dance, it was a really happy moment. Some little fireworks were set off to make it even more special. But in just a few seconds, something really terrible happened. Those fireworks that were supposed to be fun ended up setting fire to the decorations on the ceiling. All of a sudden, the joyful atmosphere turned into a big mess. Fire started falling down and everyone got really scared. People were trying to find a way to get out of there. Inside the hall, there were about 900 guests. But this night, which was supposed to be filled with happiness, became a night of sadness and tragedy. The AFTRMATH. Amidst the chaos and desperation that engulfed the Haytham Royal Wedding Hall, survivors grappled with the grim reality of the unfolding catastrophe. The toll of the tragedy was staggering, with more than 100 souls tragically perishing and over 150 individuals enduring harrowing injuries. Among the injured, many bore the excruciating wounds of severe burns and the physical trauma sustained during the frantic stampede to secure safety. This heart-wrenching event painted a nightmarish tableau, one that would cast a long and dolorous shadow not only over the immediate vicinity of the town but reverberate through the broader Christian community in Iraq. The ramifications of this disaster transcended the boundaries of a single location, sending shockwaves of grief and sorrow across the entire region. The survivors' collective anguish was immeasurable as they grappled with the profound loss of their loved ones and the haunting memories of that tragic night. In the aftermath, the town stood united in mourning, their hearts heavy with sorrow, yet fortified by the strength drawn from their shared faith and the enduring bonds of their close-knit community. The scars left by this catastrophic event would take years, if not a lifetime, to heal. It served as a stark reminder of the perilous challenges faced by this resilient Christian minority in Iraq, a community that had endured countless trials and tribulations throughout its history. The young couple's ordeal, Revan and Hameen, the bride and groom at the center of this tragedy, bore witness to the unthinkable. They miraculously survived the fire, but the emotional scars they carry are indelible. Revan, who was only 27, lost 15 members of his family that night. He sits beside his bride, Hameen, who at just 18, suffered the loss of 10 of her relatives, including her mother and brother. Her father, too, is in critical condition. Their once promising future has been overshadowed by this tragedy. The pain they carry is immeasurable, and their decision is heartbreaking. Revan and Hameen have made the agonizing choice to leave their beloved hometown behind. They believe it's the only way to escape the cycle of tragedy that has struck their lives repeatedly. That's it. We can't live here anymore. I mean, every time we try to have some happiness, something tragic happens to us and destroys the happiness. So it's best for us to leave. The trauma runs deep, and Revan's words reflect the profound impact this disaster has had on their lives. As they sit together, they share a sentiment that is difficult to fathom. Despite their physical survival, they feel like they are dead inside. It's true that we're sitting here in front of you alive, but inside we are dead. We are numb. We are dead inside. The cause of the fire, but let's take a closer look at what Revan tells us about how the fire started. Forget about the fireworks for a moment. Revan believes something else happened. He thinks the fire began up in the ceiling, maybe because of a problem with the electricity, like a short circuit. And this whole chain of events unfolded in just a matter of seconds. Can you imagine how terrifying that must have been? The atmosphere of joy turned into pure chaos. People were screaming and running in all directions, trying to escape from the fire that was spreading fast. Revan remembers the frantic moments when he had to save his wife, who was struggling to move because of her wedding gown. I grabbed my wife and I began to drag her. I kept dragging her and trying to get her out of the kitchen entrance. As people were fleeing, people were trampling on her. Her legs are injured. The emotional toll. The emotional toll on Revan, Hemin, and their families is immeasurable. They've lost loved ones, friends, and relatives. The grief is overwhelming, and every day brings more heartache. Our relatives, our friends, our loved ones are all gone. On the wedding night, why did this happen? What did we do? Why did this happen? This tragedy has raised broader questions about safety standards and accountability. Highly flammable building materials have been identified as a potential contributing factor to the rapid collapse of the wedding hall. Initial investigations suggest that the hall violated basic safety requirements, lacking emergency exits and a sprinkler system. It's a grim reminder of how corruption and negligence can jeopardize lives. Revan and Hanin's story is a painful reminder of the challenges faced by the Christian community in Iraq, a community that has endured violence and displacement in recent years. Despite the odds, they persevered and sought to rebuild their lives and their homeland. The call for accountability. After the terrible incident, people are asking for answers. They want to know who is responsible for what happened. The early investigation points fingers at different people and groups. These include the owner of the hall, the local authorities who oversee safety rules, and the teams responsible for emergency response. The town of Karakosh, also known as Hamdaniya, is mourning the loss of its loved ones. But it's not just sadness. They want fairness and justice. They want to find out what really happened and why, so this never occurs again. As we end this report, our thoughts are with Raven, Hemin, and everyone affected by this terrible tragedy. They've shown incredible strength in such a tough time. We want their story to help us understand how vital safety rules and fairness are. It also shows how strong communities can be when faced with tough times. Thank you for being with us as we remember those we've lost and admire the courage of those who are still here. If you'd like to help the families of the victims, please check the information below. And always remember to stay safe and look out for one another.